WIIFTV. WIIFTV PM.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
You better be careful, baby, be careful. This is a baby making tone. Better be careful what your radio on. This is a baby making tone. Better be careful what your radio on. You let down your hair when you're feeling sexy. You bite on your lip when you're holding your tongue. You uncross your legs, yeah, without even speaking. Your body is screaming. You wanna make love. I can hear your body language. You ain't said a word, but I know what you feel.
In all of the programs that I have
WIIFTV PM.
I love being black. Do you love being black? Yeah, I love being black. Hey, do this for my people all across the globe. Hey, it's break. The skin I'm in fit me fine, tailor-made, yeah, I'm comfortable. And so it seems I'm still chasing my dreams. They told me, watch my steps, they want to pull the rug from under you. This is transparency, my life 3D. You feel every word that I utter, reporting live from the gutter. Where the mind's hard to change, but we don't give up on our brothers and sisters. Cause we all need one another. The time's getting closer, revolution, feel it coming. I can smell it in the air. Inhale it, let it embody you. Because chances are the cops pull you over, they body you. Plus we don't trust each other, so it's just another obstacle. Why jump hurdles to make a change? It ain't optional. Olympian mindset in this booth with my binoculars. I see my vision getting clear. Justice what a prophet do. My music touch the people's soul. Black power gospel tunes. So many styles, watch me kick them like they soccer moves. Falling rank and file, this is my platoon. Soldiers at attention, ain't no Willie lynching. This the program. Who they think they kidding? Reinvent the system. Total reconstruction of our mental stigma. This ain't a game, boy. Still they think I'm talking about Nintendo's. That's a shame, boy. Augment reality. Better fix your brain, boy. I love my people, hope they love me black. I'm going hard and ain't no holding back. Watch me react. I put my fist up in the skies like a beacon for believers that one day we return to our greatest sin. We seek it all the glory we can obtain and keep reaching. I'm painting this picture, I hope you see it. Guess what the theme is? I love being black. We turning up. I love being black. Say it loud. Man, I love being black. One more time. I love being black. Hey. Well, how about you to sing these tunes too? Customize for you a little something you can groove to. Feeling good about yourself. Melanated mood muse. Always service humble pie. We don't care about who's who. Light brown or dark skin. This right here's for you too. We are the gods of the earth. Living proof truth. Say it loud if you black and proud. I salute you and that's a fact. Where you at? Let me hear you say it back. I love being black. We turning up. I love being black. Say it loud. Man, I love being black. One more time. I love being black. Hey. Super melanation, renovation of our databases. Gotta fix the trinity to make it past the matrix. There's a rabbit in the hole. No decision, you gon' chase it or just shut it for complacency. Here's your motivation. Black power in your veins. Up to us to build a nation. European mental detox completely we erase it. Cause you can't keep fighting over old information.
attended all of the education that I had, college, public, and otherwise. Nobody ever told me that I was an African woman. Nobody ever told me what the history of African people were. Nobody ever told me that America is business, and without business you will have nothing and be nothing. And nobody ever told me how to organize business so that I would be able to develop institutions in my own community. So now the sincerity of all of the programs and all of the education has to be questioned, indicted, and convicted, because the bottom line is that America is not and has never tried to produce African adults who are functional, self-sufficient, who understand their politics, their economics, and their relationship to the world politics and the world economics. Listen, you have to have some confidence in the power of African people amongst ourselves to establish a foundation. We have utter chaos in our cities, and you got to do that. You can have a program. I'm not saying we've built a lot of institutions, and those institutions have not been effective. The majority of millions of African youth in this country are dying mentally, dying spiritually, dying emotionally, dying academically, and you may have a program, Mr. Brown may have a program, but what we got to talk about is an American government that tracks millions of African people who don't go to your program, don't go to Brown's program, millions of African people, not only here, but all around the world. And if we are not honest enough to say who are our friends, who are our enemies, to know what a friend is, to know what an enemy is, we will constantly be trying to get into people's parties, to shake our butts with them, to get them to like us, and that's not the question. The question is, what can we build amongst ourselves to secure ourselves from our enemies so that we will be able to survive into the future?
Black unity and Black Power, family. You are back now for another Black Power Hour with New Era Chicago Radio. I'm all tongue-tied up, man. Ready to get into the episode, ready to do what I do. You already know who it is. It's your boy D Cook in the building. And you know I'm not alone. Hey. You know I came with that Power Squad. You know that voice right there by now.
What's good, family?
You already know Sister Oya in the building. Sister E, talk to us, sis.
What's the word, family? How y'all feeling? Feeling real powerful today. How y'all feeling?
We beautiful, sis. And I see you over there multitasking.
Yes,
you get that
you know me. You know, you already know.
No doubt. And we got Mr. Power Surge himself, Brother E in the building. Peace, King.
What's up, family? How y'all doing?
Yes, sir. So this is what it is, family. First and foremost, before we take off, I can't help but take the time out right now to say peace and love to everybody that's tuning in live with us. Thank you, thank you. Please take a minute to share the page. Let all your family and friends know this is where we need to be every Wednesday, 5 to 6 p.m. because we're not playing around, family.
At all.
We got to get to the bottom of what's going on out here. And so today is no different. Each week we try to hit you with a topic that's for real, and it's like a hot knife and butter, right? We cutting through it. Let's get through it, right?
Go.
So today is no different. We need your input, family. We're talking about compassion.
Come on, y'all.
And not just any type of compassion, but we want to know how relevant is it to us having compassion for each other.
Right.
If we're talking about saving our community and coming together, how important is that compassion? So we want you all to chime in. Please comment, leave your comments. We will get back to you and we will rock out with you all. But listen, this is what it's about. Shout out to Mace Jackson, everyone here at What's In It for the Black People Media. This is what it is, family.
All day.
There aren't a lot of outlets to where we can go and celebrate each other. And this is one.
Right.
So if you're interested in being on Internet Radio, you're trying to look for a home, please contact my brother Maze Jackson here and get with it, all right? And shout out to the super producer extraordinaire, that brother LaRon in the building right here. But I'm going to stop running my mouth and just go ahead and pass it to my sister Oya. What's good, Queen?
Why you want to pass it to me? I mean,
everything, right to the right.
Everything is lovely. Everything is why I'm excited about this topic because, you know, compassion is my thing. being a student of psychology, like I'm always, and it might be the Virgo in me too. Shout out. I know it's supposed to be Scorpio season, but we still.
Hey, it's Libra right
still
now,
in the-
though. You can go and call us on, though, sis. It's all good.
No, the Virgos are still in the house. But like, just naturally, when people do messed up stuff, my first mind is always, how did they get there? Like, you know what I'm saying? What happened to you to make you such an ass or, just, a nasty person? And so I can't wait to get into it because especially if you on social media, you can really see the hurt in the community, in the comments, the way we talk to each other, the way we dismiss each other, the way we aren't able to like really have a conversation without it being nasty or name calling. And that's not everybody. Let's be clear. Some of our people have some sense. But by and large, y'all be out there tripping. So, that's what I'm interested in tapping into. How you feeling, sis?
I'm good. The rain, the rain always slows us down, but it's we're gonna plow through it.
It's nap time.
It is. It
When it
is.
rains.
But we just got a lot going on in the city right now. The just what's going on, with our high schools and things like that. Not just in the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
Shout out to our family, New Era Detroit, for holding it down. It's just, we got to get some grown folks out here. We got to get some grown men out here up in these schools, family. It's just, it's a lot going on.
Yeah.
A lot of misdirection, a lot of energy just being used where it can be put elsewhere. So I'm just excited, y'all. I'm just excited for what we are trying to do and what's to come for us,
All day.
Brother E.
So the topic today is compassion and how it relates to us being able to save our people and save our communities and whatnot. And I think we have to understand that unless we develop some compassion for each other as a people and as a community, we'll never be able to fix this shit. I think it's the lack of compassion that really drives our apathy. Oftentimes, you know what I'm saying? To a large degree in our communities, we can look at certain things that are happening and we feel like that shit is none of our business. We feel like it's none of our business, none of our concern. Like I repeatedly
Ain't got
say,
nothing to do with me.
exactly. Unless it comes to our doorstep, then we don't. It usually doesn't prompt a response from us, and then even then, sometimes it still doesn't. And also, as it relates to the compassion piece, like I just think of it as specifically what we see happening with our youth in our communities and whatnot. And the response from a lot of people is often more police, more judges, more jails. And I'm talking about us.
Our people, yeah.
It's one thing for, people who don't live with us, don't look like us, don't relate to us, to have a certain perspective. And their thing is, lock them niggas up, whatever. But oftentimes it's us. You know what I'm saying? There's a contradiction between, those just two different mindsets, and we don't give any consideration for how we got here. I'm all for individual accountability and personal responsibility, but we should never forget who the architects of all this chaos and dysfunction are. You know what I'm saying? And like, if we don't have the compassion, we absolutely have to develop the compassion for our people. There are things that need to be dealt with in our communities, absolutely, but they have to be dealt with a sense of compassion. Like, I'm all for discipline, and when it's time to chop heads, we can get with that too.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But we have to first have that love for our people and love for our communities.
What's that saying you got? I don't really like you, but I like that saying.
It's cool. I mean, let's put it out there. I don't really like you. I don't
You know
really
what
care
I'm
for you
saying?
either.
I'm gonna
Let's
go
put it out
ahead
there.
and just repeat what you said though, because it was kind of deep. But when you say, you know what I'm saying, your enemy is diabolical, but your brother is broken.
Yeah, your brother is broken. Your
Yeah.
enemy is diabolical, and we oftentimes forget that.
Yeah.
We just go straight to the behavior, and we forget to acknowledge how we got here. I'm being long. What were you about to say? Something?
No. I'm just.
And I just want to say something again. I'm being long-winded again.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Check this out though. Remember a few weeks ago we did the trauma training, and we were over on 79th, right? And me and you, we was in the parking lot. We was setting up, and the police hit the corner. The police officer. So I peeped them, from the get go. I'm just looking at them. They sitting across the lot and they looking, and I couldn't tell, who was in the car, black, white, or whatever. I just know the police car, and they pull in the lot, and it just happened to be two black officers, and they asked us what we're doing. And we said, okay, we told them, like, we're setting up for a trauma training, and explained to them, we give
75th, bro.
75th what?
Phillips.
Yeah, 75th and Phillips at the quarry. Yeah, my bad. I said 79th. I told them, we're setting up to, give training for the community on how to deal with gunshots wounds specifically, and just trauma and certain things that have to be dealt with. Okay, and the officer was like, yeah. The officer was like, okay, yeah, that's a good thing, blah blah blah. But immediately he went to man, but when are you guys going to start addressing us killing each other in the first place and whatnot? And I just, and I had to tell him, I'm like, bro, we do that too. Right. We do that too, but you are not taking into consideration that we have been under unrelenting assault for hundreds of years. We didn't war. Yeah, we at war. We didn't get this way overnight. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, if we have to have an understanding of that. We did not come to this point that we are at overnight. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, bro. Now, I'd just like to add, like, the piece, what's sticking out to me, when you're speaking right now, the thing that popped out to me was the historical trauma. Like, that's what I hear, right? And, like, I think sometimes, like you say, we don't give each other room or just even take recognition in the fact that we've been traumatized, like, as a whole, right? And we've also, with that comes the fact that we don't understand how much of the oppressor's ideology that we adopt.
You've taken on, yes. Right? Yep.
Right? Like, you adopt his ideology when you say, you know what, the service over here, that business over here, this garbage over here, that's over with. I ain't effing with them no more. You know what I'm saying, man? But I remember clearly, like, being a youngster, I'm just talking about mentalities, and I'll throw it back. I remember, you know what I'm saying, God bless my grandmother's soul. I remember her telling us, hey, y'all go to bed tonight, Saturday night, because tomorrow we getting up early so we can ride on out to Orland Park or Tinley Park to go to the mall. To shoot past Evergreen Plaza. To go to another community, to go out there and go shopping, right? Like, we adopt these ideologies like they better, right? And I'm just saying, for us, right, we gotta have the mentality of saying, you know what, we've been traumatized, there may be some problems, but those that's in the know and those that are so-called woke and conscious, man, we gotta show back up again and show how to represent.
Even more so. Go ahead, sis.
Can I just add, when we say we taking on those type of ideologies, a lot of that should be laziness. A lot of it just be the easiest thing to say. You know what I'm saying?
You mean like what do you mean like?
It's the easiest thing for our people to say. Well, lock them up, call the police.
Right.
And they don't understand that it started. It has a core somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So when we talking about, the little boys or the little girls in the house and what we laughing at, we think is cute, you're going to grow up and still have that same mentality. And the world not going to love on you like that. The world is going to give you what you're giving it back. And so when we talking about, just passing these problems off, we talking about passing these problems off to people that don't look like us, and they don't give a damn about us.
Give a fuck about
you. They getting paid to take us out.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So we really have to be mindful of that. And at the same time, we have to, constantly grow. You know what I'm saying? Growing is not just a one-time thing. Just like humbling yourself is not a one-time thing. It's continuous. And the moment you stop learning, that's when you die. So, what you teach your children, you learning from them as well. Y'all growing together. We have to take more responsibility for ourselves and our children from a home level. A lot of these kids are raising themselves. They are raising themselves. And we, a lot of people say, oh, the kids ain't got nothing to be stressed out about. Yeah, they do, because they feed themselves. They getting themselves to school every day. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody checking on them.
They are a part of the world.
Exactly.
So they know what's going on in it.
They are a reflection of what they seeing right now. And so that's why they're leaning towards the entertainers and, the music and all of this, that, and the third. We have a job to do, and it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going, and we gotta grab hold of it some type of way.
And you got to pay attention to the fact that, like, I'm not willing to believe that so many of these babies are on drugs and doing these different things just because it's cool or, you know, some fun thing to do. Like, if you taking something, you're trying to escape something. If you have a hard day at work, you come home and you drown in a bottle of whatever you drowning in, that's because of what you're going through. You know what I'm saying? What's taxing you mentally. And so when you see these babies leaning like they leaning and high, you have to stop and wonder, like, what's behind this? What is underlying? And here's the reality. We have the capacity to be compassionate. We do it with other groups.
There you go. Come on.
We do it with other groups every time, you know, something is happening somewhere else. We find a way to say, oh,
We participate.
You know, we participate. Kids get shot. The parents are on the TV forgiving the officers that did it. You know, it's like, what do you? We were just at an event where the brothers who were serving the food weren't willing to serve two of the sisters. This ain't for y'all. This for some other people. But time the two white guys walked over with their hands out, these suckers walked away with plates of meat. Like stacked to the, like you could see to the, like, so how are you so eager, stepping fetching to feed them, but you wouldn't feed your own sisters? And we're clearly a part of the event.
And that may seem like something small and petty, but it's indicative of
Exactly.
It's
The
indicative of the mentality, the mindset. We have, like you said earlier, bro, we have been inundated and bombarded with the ideas and the mental, just the mentality of our oppressor. What they've done is they've been able to transfer the ideas that are beneficial and suit them to where we take them on and we act that shit out. You know what I'm saying? And it's just it's sad and it's unfortunate, but it's not something that we can't overcome. You know what I'm saying? You just everything about what it is that we need to do, we just need to remain conscious of it and be deliberate and intentional about it. You know what I'm saying? So like we need to go out of our way to be compassionate and show love and show care and concern for our people, whereas we've been taught to not to.
Sister Janessa just said something in the comments earlier. I can't see it anymore, but the exact thing you just said, like we have to be intentional with our people no matter what. And we understand that. You know what I'm saying? Now, listen, let me go to the other side of it, because there are times where you may see one or two and you like, I don't have the room to be compassionate for that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that right there, I can't take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we all got a story. We all going through something. You know what I'm saying? So it can be difficult to decide or to be deliberate in being compassionate. Like, I don't want to bring him up in particular, but let's just say pedophiles and molesters in the community. I have no room. If I were queen for a day, I'd walk their ass to the town square right in the middle and set them on fire. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you wreaking havoc. That's my particular thing. This is a group of people that ain't gonna go. Don't want them to go. Shouldn't go. You know what I mean? So that's another thing we have to tap into or make the distinctions in our community. What is okay? What are we not standing for? So that when we are delving out compassion, we're doing it in the right space.
A just manner.
Justice where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro. What was you about to say? Go
I
ahead.
was just saying that's a deep topic right there. Like that pinpoint in my mind when I thought about compassion, that was the first two things that came up in my mind.
What?
Pedophiles, rape, pedophiles, murderers, and wrapping my mind around like having compassion.
Yeah, that's
in that space. Like having compassion. I got daughters. I have a mother. I have family, right? I'm a human being.
and our little boys getting touched too.
And boys as well.
Yeah,
right?
that's another conversation.
Absolutely,
These nasty
right?
hoes
Like,
out
over the
here
top, right? But
touching on these little boys. What?
but compassion, in the scope of compassion, though. Oh my goodness, right?
It
Because
doesn't
it's an
hide.
illness, right?
Let me say this. Okay, see, when I'm talking about, we need to begin to approach the compassion piece just off top as it relates to our community. We have compassion for our people. See, and we can in certain instances, we can, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess discriminate to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? Because there are certain things that we cannot stand and we can't tolerate. But when I'm talking about compassion, I'm talking about just off top the lack thereof when it comes to our people and our communities. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to our young people, when it comes to specifically the instances that come to my mind is the murder, carjacking, violence in the community, and there is no compassion, no empathy shown to our children from our community. We're disconnected. You know what I'm saying? And like you mentioned earlier, sis, it's like, you know, we are looking for solutions to these problems that require the least amount of sacrifice from us. So even if that means that the enemy comes and presents the solutions, we'll take them as long as it don't disturb our routine. And we got to get up off of that. Like, we have to have the compassion enough for our people to go out here and be willing to address and solve these problems, whatever they may be.
Absolutely.
So I just want to. You gonna
go ahead? Quinn.
Okay. So I just want to add to that, bro, and that's a part of accountability. You know, us holding ourselves accountable to say, you know what, damn, you know, we dropped the ball. You know what I'm saying? We so quick to point the finger. They doing it because of this, that, and the third. You know, and it's just like, man, like, when are we gonna like run out of fingers of pointing? And you got one more finger left, and it's gonna be for you.
And what's so frustrating is that this is where the oppressor puts his concentration. He's concentrated in that area, tearing us up and dividing lines right here in this space, right?
Yep.
So that's what we're putting the focus tonight, family. We're looking at the comments. We're watching. We appreciate you all. We appreciate the energy. We're seeing you all tune in right now. Continue to tag people. Sis, I know we had a lot of comments. Did we roll up on one yet that we wanted to address or put out there?
Well, I appreciate Mike Burry's defining the compassion, to care for someone who is suffering or a victim, and I think that's poignant, suffering, because that's definitely going on in the community. Suffering,
that's us.
Having been victims of things, and that can stretch. Al Venn says some are sociopaths and psychopaths, which is a reality, in which they show no human empathy, and that's a space where we really don't focus any energy like our special needs people, because for so many decades, ain't nothing wrong with that boy. You know what I'm saying? Or ain't nothing wrong with that girl. Like, it wasn't addressed. He touched. He just a little special. It was never really addressed, and we haven't been taught how to properly work with people who have special needs. Now, psychopaths and sociopaths ain't special needs, but the point is, if we start to be able to identify some of these behaviors, then we can pinpoint what is what, so that we can make decisions concisely on how we're going to deal with it.
Can I say this also about compassion? We cannot begin to be able to determine when compassion is needed and when judgment and discipline is needed until we take responsibility for our situation in our community. You know what I'm saying? It's up to y'all, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We can't begin to determine which situations require compassion and which situations require off with their fucking heads until we decide. Until we decide to take responsibility and accountability for our community. As it relates to compassion and certain individuals that we decide may be deserving or not deserving. When we decide to deal with these situations and deal with our ills of society and whatnot, we still have to do it from a point of that's how do I say this? Void of emotion to a certain degree. We have to be logical and practical with it, and we can't deal with certain situations. What's the word? We can't deal with these situations at the prompting of our enemies. You get what I'm saying?
They can't push us to.
Exactly. They can't push us to deal with them. We have to already have a setup,
system
a
in
structure, and a system. You know what I'm saying? And that is going to come with accountability. We have to first take accountability and understand that the well-being of our community is our responsibility. And so whatever systems we come up with to facilitate that well-being, safety, livelihood, all of that, it'll, you know what I'm saying? It'll, as we deal with it intelligently, we'll be able to create that, you know what I'm saying, as we take accountability. But we can't. Go ahead.
So, I was just gonna, because like they flooding us with comments
Yes,
at
I
this
just
point.
saw one. I was about to
Sister
grab
Michelle Cook said, "Compassion starts from within. Have compassion for yourself. Show compassion to your family. Then go into the community, showing and spreading compassion, and the cycle should become contagious." Someone else. This is why I implore people to read the book, Pedagogy of the Oppressed, powerful book on white supremacy and the effect.
Is that Sister Janessa?
Yes.
She gave me that book to read years ago.
On the world,
It's a dope book. It's a
She
dope book.
she also, I don't know if you see it just yet, so she made a comment in regards to the emotional trauma that we have as individuals.
Right here, it
that's
just popped up.
just it's getting bigger and bigger.
And I want you to finish this, and I know we're winding down right now, but in that Pedagogy of the Oppressed, it says in there, right, like no man can consider himself like 100% human while preventing somebody else from doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? As it relates to white supremacy and trying to stand on us. Like, we know who we are. We know what this is. This is not a game. That's not why we came, family.
Yeah.
We're here to uplift our community. Now, we got about a quick minute before we go to break. Got any more comments you want to read, Queen, or we want to get to them after the break?
We can get to them after the break.
Okay.
I'll wrap up what I was saying after the break.
All right, cool. That's what's up, family. It's the Black Power Hour.
No
we gonna
break?
keep going?
All right, whatever.
Okay.
Keep going. All
Listen,
right.
then. We here then,
Sis
family.
said-
I say less.
Now, here's one that says, if you don't know how can you show it? That is a very valid point. That is because we haven't been given the tools oftentimes. But I think in this day and age, though, we have access to more information than ever before. And I think that you've heard it at least. Like, these are arguments that you've heard at least. So at some point, it's about stepping out of your own way and being open to receive and then investigate even further. Like when Sis said, when you going to look in the mirror, you steady pointing fingers.
So it's my comment is like a 3-part thing. Is in addition to what Eric was saying, also to what Sister Janisa was saying, and then to the last comment you just said. When will we address our own emotional trauma? That goes hand in hand, and when we're able to be prompted by the oppressor to say what's important. You know what I'm saying? It's because we don't have that mindset of our own. We're not able to recognize it. So then when we're talking about our own emotional traumas, we've been pushing shit aside and up under the rug and covering it up, you know, with so many different things. You know what I mean? Just covering it up. And then at some point, I always say this: whatever you're doing, your intentions will soon be revealed, because you won't be able to hide them. It's something that's gonna trigger whatever's inside of you, whether it be good or it's bad. It's gonna come out of you. You know what I mean? So, being able to recognize these traumas and accept it. You know, some is wrong with everybody. It's not one person that I know that is A-okay. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got something going on.
Yeah.
You in denial, brother.
Ain't he?
But man, it's just recognizing,
Somebody hand me his phone.
recognizing and trying to make sure that we we're able to at least accept. Just be open to it. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, no, you was making dope points. That's why you see me all in your face like, sis, wait a minute, sis, let me get in right there, right? Because you hitting it on the head. I want to talk back to everything that we swept under the rug, right? Things that you say, like some of the things that swept under the rug, some were conscious, some unconsciously, right? Some unconsciously, like not really having resources or understanding people with other abilities. Like we didn't really understand, you know, epilepsy. We really didn't understand, you know, with somebody dealing with ADD. We didn't know, you know, we didn't know, do we take our children to the hospital if we have access, or do I find a way to deal with it at home? And so the way that came out, because you sparked this thought, sis, because my uncle had epilepsy. You know, me and Michelle, my queen, we have a son at home that lives with epilepsy, cerebral palsy, Lennox-Gastaut. So I didn't know anything about medicines or anything like that. I didn't know anything about valproic acid, melatonin, Felbutol. These are things that I had to learn. We feed them 5 times a day. My uncle was growing up. He had epilepsy. The medicine was locked up. Everybody in the house didn't know how to administer it. If he fell out, we was told to put the spoon in his mouth. Now I remember.
Turn him on the side.
Right? And so we didn't educate each other on it. I didn't know. My grandmother has never set me down and said, your uncle has special needs. You know what I'm saying? These are things we have to do. We have to educate each other, else we lose things in the pipeline. We lose things in the pipeline. One of the things that we lost is educating each other on the fact that we all been traumatized and giving each other the space to breathe and be vulnerable.
Come on, King.
We don't all feel comfortable with being vulnerable inside the room. This is why New Era Chicago is here, family. All right? Because we have to be vulnerable. The place where we got hurt in public is the place where we got to heal.
Come on, say that.
Stop trying to do it inside your house. Come outside with us. Come outside with us,
because somebody
family.
experiencing it too.
Mentally and physically. This is why we hit the street. We don't think we superheroes. We know we can get killed like the next man.
We so extra regular, bro.
Bro, but listen though. Somebody got to lead the charge.
Yeah.
Somebody got to lead the charge, family. We have queens out there with us, bro. And we have brothers that's just driving by, not understanding that we at war. Family. People always ask us the question. People always say to us, call us when it get real.
It's been real.
What?
Bro.
Yeah.
What?
I hate that. Like, to hear brothers say, call me when it gets real. And I just be like, what the fuck is real to you?
Right.
That's all ego. It's all ego and it's cowardness.
It's ego and it is cowardice. It's a lack of understanding also. It's like you say, an unwillingness to participate and do what it is that we are supposed to do. Ultimately, it's a lack of compassion. Because when the shit comes to your doorstep,
it's too late.
You'll be calling NEC.
Yeah, you call or you call NEC or the police or you know what I'm saying, or whoever, you know what I'm saying, because you know that you've been slighted now and it's come to your doorstep.
Now it's personal.
But the thing about it, we have to adopt the village community mentality if we want to overcome this shit. We
got to learn. I'm sorry, sis, but we have to learn how to be able to communicate with each other too. I think that's a big issue. We were talking before. We tend to think immaturely as a people in that in order for us to work together, we've got to be best friends or, we got to wake up with each other in the morning. Like, that's not the case. We can never go to lunch. We can never have dinner. Some of these people, we may never see each other. We don't have to like each other. But whatever is happening to you, it directly affects me because I, too, am a member of the community. You can't go into Chinatown, not one CPD officer, and start slapping up and throwing around their young children. And we're not going to act like they don't have gangs and things like and problems in their community. They suffer situations too. But what you are not going to do is walk down there and you're not going to see no police treating their people any kind of way. But when you come into our communities, I don't care what the officer look like. We getting smacked around, kicked around, and folks are standing by watching. Some of it, I can imagine some people may, be afraid. But I think a lot of it,
we got to get over that, though.
It's cowardice. But we have to, we don't have to all like each other. That's number one. But we do need to recognize that the work needs to be done, and ain't nobody going to do it if we don't.
I just want to add, just the start of New Era with me. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have never thought I would have been sitting in front of somebody's microphone on the radio right now. I had issue with going to the door. I just like to stand in the back and do, the man behind the curtain. And, in these 6 years, 6 years that we've been doing this, we've grown. Like, when I tell y'all, it's just been a tremendous experience, good and bad, growth without a doubt, though. And there was several times that I had to ask myself, man, do you really love black people? Do you really love black people? And it's like you gonna come across.
We was in the Walgreens and the sister was behind us and we just looked at each other like,
Yeah, it's been several moments like that in the 6 years where it's just like, you know what? Compassion has just been something that I have really had to like come to grips with. It ain't about me. It's about this work. It's about our people that needs us, that need you and I that's standing out here. And we don't have to be friends and hold hands, but we definitely got to come from the core. It has to come from the core. You can't be out here doing this just to perform, shucking the bucket. You already know I'm coming with it. You can't just be, it got to be coming from the soul.
Yeah.
It has to be coming from a space of, it's nothing else driving you out here. I'm talking about Brother Eric used to be on the bike, taking the train, coming to do Streets is Watching. We all then probably drove on fumes to get from one place to another. You know what I mean? But it was blessed by the ancestors because we were doing it with genuine spirits.
Absolutely. It was compassion laced all up in there.
All through it.
Yeah.
And what do you want to leave the next look? I can't, I'm sick of this world. I really am. But I cannot leave here and leave this shit to my son and daughter and my grandchildren. I don't want my great grandchildren out on the streets hollering hands up, don't shoot. It's unreasonable that we have been going through the same stuff for decades. And again, with the finger pointing, which generation dropped the ball? All of them. All of us. Everyone. We are so consumed with our own shit. You know what I'm saying? And we are in the moment and we're not thinking future. Generational wealth. Absolutely. But let's not just focus on the generational wealth. You have to start breaking down those generational curses. And that's where compassion can be used.
Absolutely. Listen, there's so many comments coming up right now, right? Several, right? I want to go back to one I think you read already, Sister Oya. I believe this is Brother Anthony D. Muhammad.
So
he said, how do we practice compassion? So many of us don't have any personal experience being the beneficiary of compassion, and it's difficult to demonstrate what hasn't been shown to you. Kind of similar to the one you read earlier, right? And so I would like to say this to us, because a lot of us, we're unable to see it. We haven't had examples of it before. Let me give you something real quick. This is just the analogy I'll use, and then I'm going to go on with my topic about compassion and I seeing it. There was a father who was a drunk. He had two sons. One son became an alcoholic. The other became a pilot. They asked the son that was an alcoholic, like, how did you become an alcoholic? And he was like, look at my dad. What did you expect? He was like, all right, pause. Let me talk to the son that became a pilot. How did you become a pilot? And the son that became a pilot gave him the same answer.
I looked at my dad.
Look at my dad. I knew exactly what I didn't want to be. So sometimes we have to look at what we see and flip it.
Exactly.
Like we have the lesson. It just may not be in the book that we're used to reading. Flip it. You can take negativity or falsehood in what you see and flip it the other way, and reality and righteousness will be on the other side. Now, how can you walk that walk in real life, like on a daily basis? Here's what I need you to do. This is coming from your brother, but also coming with the experience of the background of social work, right? This is what we need to do, family. We have to trust. You have to grab somebody that's older, take your other hand and reach down and grab somebody that's younger,
Come on.
and allow a vessel to flow through you. Do you understand me? When you do that, you automatically learn the definition of compassion, even while you still breathing. As long as you have that connection right there, this is how change happens. It's not linear, it's circular.
Come on.
Bro, that's a powerful analogy. There's always a choice. There's always a choice. You choose to show compassion or not. You choose to go one way or the other. Sometimes it may be a difficult choice, but it is a choice. Man, what did Kanye say? That crazy ass shit he said about slavery being a choice, right?
Yeah.
It was a choice because you had the option to die or remain a slave. Now it's not it's not an easy choice, but there's always a choice.
And some of them made the choice.
Yes, some of them made the choice. You know what I'm saying? And I know some people may be mad at that analogy and that I brought him up, but I'm just speaking to, it won't always be an easy choice. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy for us to make the sacrifices often. Man, listen, I know all of us at this table. You know, there are certain things in our personal lives that are not together simply because we are so driven and just focused on what we're doing as far as the community work, loving on our people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not an easy choice. At the same time, though, it's I kind of got the mindset of like, shit, I don't got no choice when I look at, you know what I'm saying? When you look at what we're leaving to our children. I don't have any children, but you know, I would hate for me to be 50, 60, 70 years old and I had a child and he comes to me and he has something happens one day and he comes to me like, Dad, what did you do? What were you doing to try to rectify or fix this shit or whatever? Man, I couldn't imagine living with that. So there's always a choice. We just got to make the right one.
Let me go to say this too. I know this, may be like thought provoking for some, but they might not feel this way as well. But just thinking with that, because I wrestled with that thought a lot when he said that, right? Like choice. Like we had a choice, right? I just want to say that the courage that we're putting in, like saying like it was a choice to die. I also think the same amount of courage went into, oh, I'm going to stay here and we're going to work through this shit in hopes of a day like today.
Yep.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So we're asking for that type of compassion right there, like the sacrifice. We already endured the worst of the worst, family. We already endured. Family, let's link up. Let's link up, family. If you have one free day out the month, that's all we asking for. We hit the street 12 days a month, sometimes 15 to 18. All right, we do programs over the weekend as well, right? If you can just sacrifice one day a month coming out, ask us, hit us in our inbox at New Era Chicago. What days are you doing Streets is Watching? Do you want to know more about the program? Leave it in our inbox. Leave it in the comments. Hood to Hood, Rakia's Ride. Press, come on.
Let me say this too. The grossest, is that a word? The most gross part of our dysfunction is the apathy. The people who take up the position that it's none of my business or none of my concern. That's what's worse than anything that we are dealing with. That mind your business attitude. I say this all the time. You know, there are more cowards and traitors in our community than there are shooters. It's more niggas it's more men out here that have decided that, you know what, that shit ain't none of my business than there are people that are carjacking, that are shooting, that are doing whatever. You know what I'm saying? So like that is that apathy, that lack of concern, the whole it ain't my problem, it ain't my child, it ain't me mentality is what allows so much of this shit to flourish. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a problem that we got to address.
Somebody left a comment. I believe it was Sister Vanessa probably earlier. Janessa. I'm sorry. I believe it said something. I'm just paraphrasing. Black people will be the reason that white supremacy, or black people are the reason that white supremacy
flourishes.
existing.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. That's real shit. Yep.
Okay, family. So I want to kind of wrap up with some facts for us and just to share with the people. So, you know, New Era Chicago is a chapter of a nation. We have a nation. We have currently right now, we have 14 chapters throughout the United States. And with that being said, when we go to these different chapters, y'all, it looks the same in every city. It looks the same. So when we're talking about compassion, we are meeting with strangers that we've never met before. We just all got the heart to do it. We got the compassion to do it. And we have the willingness to do it. And we've all made these sacrifices to travel, to do what we're doing in each, respective city. Shouts out to, the nation. Yep. Shouts out to us. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
And we have a portfolio that just kind of sheds light on the black print, what we like to call it. Because in every city, we looking at the same stuff. We looking at, our children being murdered, our women being kidnapped and murdered and raped. We looking at, the different killings and things like that. And so it's funny that we mentioned the same thing that we talked about, that was talked about this morning on the Maze Jackson show with what happened at Phillips High School. Now, the same thing is happening in Detroit, right? They got kids just fighting where it's actually making the news. The news will love to shed that kind of light on our children.
Of course.
So, in efforts, and we aren't reactive. Speaking back to, you know what I mean? We aren't reactive. We're proactive. We try to get in front of stuff beforehand. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, shouts out to New Era Detroit. They have a conflict resolution task force. That means they are going into these schools and they're sitting down with our youth who the police are afraid of, but will, you know, act a fool with, who the teachers are afraid of, but just call the police. You know what I'm saying? It's a sick cycle. But those are our children. Those are our children. Those are our children.
I don't got no kids, but they ours.
Who better than to, you know, come in and counsel and sit with them, you know, and see, and because we can all relate. We can all relate. You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of them, that's why they fighting, because nobody listens.
Yep.
They have bottled up shit, and you have to listen.
Anger, disappointment that's bottled up. Yeah,
and somebody made a comment in here too about like parenthood. I remember my mother told me, you don't become a mother when the child gets here. You become a mother as soon as you find out you're pregnant. So everything you do,
you got to do better.
Everything you do, you need to start prepping, and you need to. There are days where you know you tired. You just don't. I be so tired sometimes. Especially when I was at school, work, the business. And I had to make time for my children to come in and talk to me about what the fuck ever. Even if I felt like it was nonsense. The point is, they want to be heard. They want to know that somebody is listening to them. So that when it comes to something serious, they know where they can come. Yeah, we got to do that for our baby in-house. Like Sis said, we got to start at the home level. And when I'm exhausted, Teresa will call me. Like, okay, are they still alive? I'm coming to get my babies this weekend. So family, somebody in the comments said we have to be a village. Yeah. Like we can start that with our family. Sister Michelle Cook say start at home and then take that out into the community. So if we haven't seen it before, we don't know. Those of you that do know, and you got family members or relatives that be on bullshit, start going to their houses and showing. You know what I'm saying? And giving them that example.
Bingo, sis, again. And that's a perfect way to grab the hand of an elder and grab the hand of a young person and keep that continuum of life going, right? Bring somebody in, Brother Muhammad, that you trust that's older. Bring somebody in younger that looks up to you. Yeah. And that's an excellent way to work on compassion and move forward. Sister E, I know you have something else you want to add?
Well, I'm gonna add it after Sister Oya. She got a Black Business Spotlight.
The last couple of weeks we've been like totally engulfed in the conversation, but we still hold on to the principle of supporting Black business, right? Wow. So this sister is at 2232 East 71st Street in Chicago, Illinois, 60649. And it's With You in Mind Resale Shop, and shop is SHOPPE. You can find her on Facebook. Some of you guys may be on Facebook now. Go ahead and like her page. And if you follow her page, she does this really cool thing where she will go live and she will actually, it's kind of like a clothing auction where she'll show you the garment, she'll give you a number, and then she'll say, I'm letting it go for $3. And it'd be some nice stuff. Stuff still be having tags on it. It's resale and consignment shop. They are open Thursday through Saturday from 12 to 7 p.m. With You in Mind Resale Shop. Support sis.
I might slide through there. Come up with something for wifey right there. That's what's up.
Oh, they got jewelry and shoes.
I heard you say that. I heard you. I'm going to catch one of the raffles sis be doing. All right. And real quick, too, sis, before we continue to move, we had a lot of people that's chiming in. Shout out to my brother Nathaniel Allison tuning in from Flint, Michigan, bro. Peace and love for tuning in. Everybody else that's rocking with us, yo, we appreciate you all. We're talking about compassion today. Yo, family, this is what it's going to take for us to go
love
to the
your
next
comment
level.
energy today, y'all. Thank y'all so much for chiming in. You really helped move the conversation along. Keep it up.
And I do want to invite you all out, New Era Chicago. We have an event that we would love to put some of these names with the faces that we've come across through these powerful comments. So we have the New Era Chicago by Black Tour. This is geared towards us getting out there, putting our feet to the putting our boots to the ground yet again, and actually getting out here and supporting our Black businesses. So this time we are doing the boardwalk. It is on 75th Street, starting at 75th and Wabash, and we're gonna work our way back east. I believe it's maybe a block or two after Eberhard. But we got some powerful stores. We got some dope stores, y'all. We got a wood shop. We got different little boutiques. We got Looks and Styles. We got KMT Health Food Store. We got some black-owned cleaners. We got flower shops. It's a bunch
the
of
bakery
different.
still over there?
Yes, it is.
With the caramel cake?
Yes. And they got a
Ooh.
soul food restaurant over there.
Yes,
Smacks.
yes.
Yes. So, come on out, family. This is going to be October the 23rd, 2021. From 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So we encourage everybody, if you can, come on out, shop with your people, link up with the family, and let's just talk. If you are a black owned, you're a black business, bring your cards. You know what I mean? We all
Please.
get it over there. We all get it on how we are to just network and share each other's strength.
I saw Zanitra Dunning in the comments. We shouted her business out before too. If you guys are in there, put your business information in the chat. You know what I'm saying?
And
Zanitra, drop your stuff, and
Yeah.
everybody else, you writing books, whatever you're doing, we want to support.
Inbox New Era Chicago as well, families, with those businesses and the information, so that we can add you all to the Black Business page.
Absolutely, and start tagging black business owners in the show so they can be recognized as well. Real quick, you all, just want to make one quick transition. I know we only have a few minutes. We will be talking.
He say, LeBron
One
said,
minute.
you got 1
He said
minute.
one.
You
Real
had 1
quick,
minute
y'all,
3
listen,
minutes ago.
We got a lot of programs that we do in Chicago. The reason that we do them is so that we can give back to the community. We try to feed the community, come out with resources for them, yo. Nothing goes to us, so we don't ask for anything, Chicago. But if you have it, if it's on your heart to donate to the cause, I promise you, everything is going to the community. You can donate to us. Zelle, New Era Chicago 1 at gmail.com. New Era Chicago 1 at gmail.com. We appreciate you, Chicago. Press.
What's the cash app?
The-
You know, I don't be knowing
let's
all
pull
that.
that
Cash
up.
App is
Cash
$sign.
New Era Chicago.
How much time we got left, bro?
About 30
That's
seconds
it?
over with.
All right, it's a wrap.
Hey, tune in next week, family, all right? We'll be talking about invitations to the picnic.
Yeah.
WIIFTBPM.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.